Hello, everybody. Hey, Darrell.
Hey.
Uh, we had some last minute technical difficulties, but I think we're going to survive in the long run. I think we made it.
Oh yeah.
For some
Thanks for
reason,
taking care of all that, man.
yeah, we took care of all that. So let's just forget it ever happened and move on. It's working now, so feels good to be here with you, Darrell. Thanks for being here
Well,
with us tonight.
likewise. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for asking me. It's a real treat to be hanging out with you, playing a few tunes.
Yeah, it still feels like a treat to be with anybody in this world after the last couple of years. I think so.
Yeah, that's true for
You've
sure.
been doing some local shows though, right?
Yeah, a
Here
little
and
bit.
there.
Like some of my friends or heroes, I guess, have been doing a ton more. But I've been doing a few little things in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yeah.
Yes. Which is home for
Yeah.
you? Yes.
It is. Yeah, it is. I've been in Halifax for a long time, probably 15 years or a little more than that. I come from Nova Scotia. I grew up in a place called Springville, which is about 2 hours away, I guess, from Halifax. It's kind of a small spot. Yeah,
Springville, Nova Scotia. Sounds beautiful.
yeah.
Is there a
It is
spring?
actually very beautiful. There probably is. My parents, like where I grew up, there was a lake on the property, so it was pretty. We were pretty like lucky, you know. It's out in the country, and we just kind of, went. For me, like sort of this sense of wonder. I was like a sense of wonder kind of kid, you know, and
Mm.
like just being out in the forest and noticing like patterns of moss and like pine needles on the floor, on the forest floor and stuff like that, just being fascinated by that stuff or like letting imagination happen. And
Mm.
then like swimming in the lake all the time. It was awesome. Yeah.
Sounds idyllic. I'd go
Yeah,
there right
it
now.
definitely
I'd go
was.
to
Yeah,
Springville right
listen,
now.
yeah, you got to come over in the summer.
Yeah, oh, I'd love to. My wife and I haven't been east of Toronto, so which is not
Okay.
even really east. So
Well, yeah, lots of people like think east is Toronto, I think. So, yeah.
uh, we have Dave King is watching and just says his mom's from near
Oh,
Parsboro.
Parsboro.
Do you know where that is?
That's awesome. I do know where that is. Hi,
Excellent.
Dave. Yeah. I mean, don't test my geography on live stream, but yeah, I do know where that is.
Awesome. We got lucky.
Yeah.
We got lucky that time.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's a great cue to say if you're watching, just do like what Dave did and post a little comment, and then we can actually see that you're who you are, because otherwise we can see kind of a disembodied number next to an eyeball, so we know people are watching, but we don't know who you are. So if you can let us know, or if you have any questions for Darrell, aka Blue Acres, which I have to remember to ask you about as well.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
Feel free,
Yeah.
fire away with your questions, and also if you're enjoying the stream, please do take a minute just to hit share at the bottom of the video. Facebook, you know, it's dumb, I will agree, but it's the way it
Hmm.
works. The Facebook likes to share things that it thinks are important, so when it sees lots of people watching something, it tells other people to watch it, and so
Hmm.
the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer, and online just as in real life, I suppose. But yeah, one way you can help is just hit that share button. Even if you don't say anything and just post it to your wall, it just kind of primes the algorithm. But I told Darrell that we were going to start right off with a song, and he's got his guitar in hand. So I think we're gonna do that now. If you want to lead us off with a song, that would be fantastic.
Sweet. Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much. This one is called Ember, and it's the first track on my record that just came out. I actually kind of wrote it about this time of year as well, about the beginning of December, about kind of heading into the winter season, and yeah, almost like it's almost like a song, kind of about this feeling of like hibernation or like gathering in, and then waiting through a period of like winter or something, metaphorically. Gathering your resources in. So it begins, our season of darkening, the daylight a closing door, narrowing. Our leaves are gone, the names we no longer need, clothing that covered up our sacredness. There is a seed resting inside your bones. You may not have noticed it before now. An ember of warmth you're carrying always. Pull your legs up to your chest to keep out the cold. La, da, 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 la, lay your body down, carve out a hollow into the landscape covered in snow, heart beating slow, the low hum of air we breathe, roots in the ground below resonate, and it might stay there for over 1,000 years under the world we know, waiting. But oh, when it begins to grow, oh, when it begins to grow, oh, when it begins to grow, oh, when it begins to grow.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I as you were talking about growing up in Springville and being enamored with wonder, I was thinking of some of your lyrics, including some of those ones right there. So that shines through for sure.
Thanks so much. Yeah. There's this kind of feeling that I've often tried to describe, that I feel like I'm chasing it, and it is like an image is that like forest that I grew up in, or whatever. But it's this like, it is this like feeling in your chest somehow. It's almost like this glowy, like warm feeling or something, like I don't know how to describe that, but then I do find that a lot of the songs that I like of mine or that I try to keep working on seem to get, or I've noticed they've been approaching that, or I feel like I'm trying to approach that with it. So it's maybe a weird thing to articulate, but
that's why we have songs, right?
I guess so.
So we don't have to articulate.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I relate to for sure. Like I try and reach for in a lot of my songs as well, like reaching for the unreachable, I guess, right? There's this, and always an ember and never a full flame, it feels like. So I like that idea of that kind of warm glow being the hope of that, I guess, being enough a lot of times. I also love that you start your album out with the line, and so it began, or no, what's the first line of the song?
Yeah, so it begins.
Yeah.
Our season of darkening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's as close as I think you could get, without being too on the nose, to starting out your album with like, I'm going to start the album now being the first line of your song. So it's, I like it.
I think I'll do that for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you know, or it's like, Stompin' Tom's hockey song. It's like, here we go,
Right.
second period.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
here it
Yeah.
comes.
That's right. You're in a firm Canadian tradition there.
Yeah,
So
totally.
speaking of being a Canadian tradition, I see we've got some more viewers now. So for people who maybe missed the beginning, just let us know again, where is home for you, Darrell?
Oh, for me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia,
Right.
and yeah,
Great.
that's where's. Oh, yes.
Yes. Did you just see Florida's comment come in? Is this
I
somebody that
do.
you know?
No, it is not. But
Oh, you're being
I
distracted by the bright
I am being
lights.
distracted. Oh yeah, I do have bright lights in my face too. I'm trying
Oh
to
yeah, that's right.
trying to do the zoom lighting very well. But,
Well,
yeah.
Florida had a beginning that something is greatly ... and then we're waiting for the second half of your comment, Florida. So yeah, let us know. Great. I'm gonna say great. I think the song was great, but
Well, thank you. Yeah.
so this is the first Songs from Home, so I'm really grateful for you, Darrell, for being part of it and helping us break in this new idea and
Mm-hmm.
help shape what it will become. But part of the thought that I had is that we've all been spending a lot of time at home in these last couple of years for reasons that there's probably better reasons to have to be at home, but we're intimately familiar with these spaces and used to experiencing art and culture from our home more than we ever have before. So I thought, why not take these nights to kind of invite people into our homes, my home and your home, and
Totally.
know that we're in their homes too. And because I'm just a real literalist, I also wanted to just spend some time talking about home because I think it's interesting
Yeah,
for people to
that
know
is
kind
for
of
sure.
where the music gets born and especially for you because you, well, let me know. Yeah, let's talk about that. You just put out your first album as Blue Acres.
Yep.
I think you have some other solo work that can be found under your real
Yes.
name. Is that right?
My yes. Yeah, that's true. So Darrell Cameron, I put out an album about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago actually. And it was called Alleyways and Bloodlines. And there's a lot of stuff that I still really like on that and that I still play. And then yeah, it's very interesting. Like so the rest of my life I was or I am, I'm a dad. I've got 3 kids who are teenagers now, and I had a career. I have a career as a music therapist. I work in hospitals and nursing homes and things like that, doing music. It's like music therapy. If you don't know, it's like goal-directed music work in like healthcare or schools, folks with differing needs and things like that. So. Yeah, and so for me, music, like my own music, was kind of it was always like in the mix of something that I wanted to be doing more of, and wasn't doing enough or wasn't giving myself enough like time for or enough like confidence in or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mixed things in there. Um, and yeah, and then so I kind of one of the ways that I wanted to like get rid of or to like move past some of the blocks that I had was like I couldn't figure out if I was going to call it my own name or a band name or a moniker or something. And then
The ancient
yeah,
question.
exactly. Yeah, so and then um, my friend and I, Cleve Sauer, at one point we created this like fake country back porch country band called Blue Acres,
Mm.
and we released a little EP just on Bandcamp with that. My song Cumberland County is from that originally. Cleve actually plays harmonica on the record. Like there's a new version of it on this record, He plays harmonica on that. And then yeah, during the kind of pandemic shutdown, I was working on this album and trying to figure out like, hey, how can I take my music seriously and actually promote things and actually, you know, step into that artist self a little more. And yeah, it just I made the decision. It was hard to make the decision, but it was like I'm going to call it something different than my own name, and then I can like say, "Hey, listen to Blue Acres," rather than like, "Hey, listen to Darrell Cameron." It
Listen to
just
me.
felt a little better. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
kind of one step removed, right?
yeah, I think so. Another thing is like I would play songs like Cumberland County, and I'd say, "Oh yeah, this was from our fake country band called Blue Acres." And then after little shows or whatever, people would be like, "Oh, Blue Acres, where's that?" You know, like what can I find about? They would remember Blue Acres,
Oh, okay,
but
yeah.
you know, they
Yeah.
wouldn't remember my name or anything. So
Well, it's good. I think it's
yeah.
working for you.
Well, thank you. It is a little confusing because then you show up as one person, and it's like, "Are you Blue Acres?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not," but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, well, I get called Vaughn all the time now.
I was
And
thinking, yeah.
yeah, and I just go with it half the time because I think it sounds cooler than Dave, which is my real name.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I might just not
It's
let people know from now on.
it is a great it is a great name for you know for the singer-songwriter world. I don't know, it kind of evokes uh, something different, like maybe like Foy Vance or something. You know, like there's some different names like
Yeah,
it
well, I thought
evokes
Bon
some
Iver,
different
if he got
approach.
away with that, then I felt
Yeah.
like, my name
Yeah, yeah.
almost rhymes, so I could maybe get on his coattails a little bit somehow. Someone
Totally.
accidentally finds it. Um, so
Yeah.
I want to hear some more music before we talk more. I was going
Oh,
to ask
sweet.
you about how the album was recorded because we were talking about home, and I was wondering if you had recorded. I know you do a
Mm.
lot of production and recording work. Is that from a space in your home?
It is from this space right here, which is, I can't really turn my camera around, but it's very small. It's like a little cubby hole from at the bottom of the stairs here.
Okay. If you reach, can you touch both? Does your wingspan, can you touch the
Oh,
wall?
well, I can touch this wall and then I can touch you. So that's it. Yeah, it was a kind of a coat rack area, but this is like, that's where my computer is and my MIDI keyboard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then for recording other things, I run my cables over to like the living room or something,
Yeah.
you know, or if somebody comes in to work on things. So, I mean, we've only been here for a couple of, well, maybe half a year now in this apartment, but yeah, that's how it's been going in
So
terms
a
of
lot of the
recording.
album parts would have been recorded there.
Um, yeah, so this one actually, it took me a while to get this record together. So I recorded with Dave Scolton, who has an awesome band. They're no longer doing things, but they're called Acres and Acres. So I didn't steal the name, but if you looked at their records up, they had 2 albums. They're super super good, like
Nice.
really great indie folk stuff. Um, anyway, I recorded with him at a little studio in Halifax, and so a lot of the like vocals, guitar tracks, or like acoustic guitar tracks come from those sessions, and then I ended up like taking those sessions and working on them at home
Yeah,
as
kind of
well.
elaborating
So
on them. Nice.
yeah, so there's a lot of mixes, and then some folks like my friend Steve Green played bass on a lot of the tracks, upright bass, and he recorded those mostly in his house.
Mm.
So yeah, you're probably well, I know from talking with you that you've done a lot of that remote collaboration as well.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, like getting people to send tracks in and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
what
pretty
a
interesting.
world, hey?
I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
well let's take a music break and hear some more tunes. Maybe if you want to play a couple in a row,
Okay, sure.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk. I have a song in specific I wanna ask you about, so don't play that one yet. But
Okay, yeah, absolutely. This one is called I Will Return to Your Arms. Think of me where there is no sound, no feet falling or touching down over the ground. I will return to your arms. Think of me with oxygen skin, every breath you're breathing in into your lungs. I will return to your arms. I will return with a gold leaf in my hand. I will return with the river, mend and break, love and yearn, give and take, always return to you. Think of me where the glory breaks, the earth gives back all the ones it takes. Wait for the dawn, I will return to your arms. And think of me as poured out wine from holy water and dandelions soaked in soil. I will return to your arms. I will return with those questions you kept hid. I will return with a season, mend and break, love and yearn, give and take, always return to you. Yeah, I will return to your arms. That one is on the record as well. I'm going to try another one that I mentioned. It's called Cumberland County. And
Nice.
I'm going to play it a little bit different this time. I've got this. This belongs to my partner, Lindsay. It's a gorgeous little baritone uke.
Oh, baritone uke. I was wondering what it was because it looks a little bit bigger than the tiny little ukulele I have, but smaller than a guitar. Sounds lovely.
I just think it's got a real kind of wondrous sound.
Yeah, it's nice and warm, hey?
Yeah. Anyway, this is a tune called Cumberland County, which is a place in Nova Scotia. It's kind of a story song, I guess. This one is like a fella, folk song, I guess. Years ago, this fella was enamored with a particular person, and but he was too shy to say anything about it. So, and he didn't think he had anything to offer. So then he went and worked for years in the mine. And you gotta have a mine in your song.
Yeah, always. I haven't done my mine song yet, but thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, listen, you gotta do that. And then finally, he thought, like maybe I have something to offer now that he saved up some cash and he could build a life or something like that.
Silly guy.
So he wrote a letter.
I'm going to say real quick before you start, Darrell, as you're strumming away beautifully there.
Yep.
We've been talking a lot about Nova Scotia. If you're watching, maybe let us know in the comments where home is for you, where you're watching from. It's always exciting with this internet age to see people from different parts of the country watching. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, and Darrell's in Nova Scotia, so we're kind of almost across the country, but we've got a bit west to go still. So maybe someone's watching that's even west of me. Let us know where you're watching in the comments, and we'll you might get a special little feature in the stream.
That would be awesome.
All right, I'm out of here. Take it away.
All right, so this is the letter that the fellow wrote. Oh, Dave's from Calgary. Nice. Welcome. Come here and find me in Cumberland County. Come be my queen of the Cobequid Hills. I've been lonesome for you since I left Caledonia in Cumberland County. I'll wait for you still. Been working the coal mine for years without sunshine, and I saved every dollar build us a home. Now I'm writing to tell you what I never could tell you. I'm ready to give you all that I own. Come here and find me in Cumberland County. Come be my queen of the Cobequid Hills. And I've been lonesome for you since I left Caledonia in Cumberland County. I'll wait for you still. You know I've always loved you, but I was too humble to think that you'd ever consider me kind. What kept me from falling through those years of hard labor was the thought of you shining so bright in my mind. Come here and find me in Cumberland County. Come be my queen of the Cobequid Hills. And I've been lonesome for you since I left Caledonia in Cumberland County. I'll wait for you still in Cumberland County. I'll wait for you still. Hey, thank you.
Excellent.
I love this little thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What a nice warm. It reminds me of my Martin in that it's like that unfinished kind of mahogany, just has a life of its own, right? This warm breath to it.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And hello to Dave, who's who's in Calgary but from Fredericton. So he's like, Dave is like the ideal guest for this stream.
Totally.
Dave King.
And Dave, you're also participating like an ideal guest by typing in some comments. That's fabulous. Yes. Follow Dave's example, because we have fun when we can see the comments, even if it throws us off every once in a while. Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I've got I've got a lightning round of home questions for you now.
Oh, okay.
So buckle up.
Okay.
I didn't prepare you for this because I want this to be like free association, first thing that
Oh my
comes to
gosh.
mind. And
I'm
if
not sure
you're,
if you want to know what happens in the back roads of my mind, but okay.
well, you keep one or two filters on back there.
Okay.
Um, and if you're watching and you want to share your answers to any of these questions, please do as well, because we would love to
Oh yeah,
know.
that would be great.
You
That
can
would be
join in
great.
on this lightning round. Or if you want to throw a question in, this is a good time to do it
Oh
too,
yeah.
because we can see your questions. So um, I, I'm not going to remember to do this when you're performing, because I'm listening to you perform. So I just want to say before I forget that if you do want to support Darrell Cameron, aka Blue Acres, of course, streaming the album is a way to do that. Buying the album off of his website is an even better way to do that. Or you can also, if you want to just stream it because that's convenient, but still send some support along, you can leave a tip at paypal.me/blueacresband. Not with the
That's
little
so sweet.
emoji, but I just like,
Oh
you're
man.
sharing the love there. So so
Yeah.
take a moment to do that if you're enjoying what you're watching, and even if you're not, these are all going to kind of live on in perpetuity. So even though we can't see your comments live, we will check in over the next few days and kind of be in conversation with you if you're watching this not live. And certainly you can leave a tip not live as well. So if you're catching this, at any time, as a musician myself, I know that those tips mean a lot.
Totally.
The money's part of it, but it's more like just like the dopamine of knowing that somebody is showing you they care, right?
Well, it's true. Yeah, I mean, like it is amazing that we can broadcast like this, But then sometimes it does feel like you're not sure like where that connects with people.
Yeah.
So yeah, the comments are fabulous. Obviously, tips are lovely. But yeah, those kinds of things that affirm, that when you're putting things out into the atmosphere, that someone is like,
We're not just in
tuning
our
in and
little
listening.
basements
Exactly.
talking to the wall.
Which is, that's great too. That's, any typical Thursday.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have a song that opens with an image of facing the wall, laying facing the wall. Uh,
Oh yeah,
right? I can't remember the
yeah,
name of it,
definitely.
but
Yeah, when you're not strong.
yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
song.
Oh, thank
But
you.
that image really resonated to me because I remember being in my room as a kid, being really afraid of, monsters or whatever, or somebody coming in
Hmm.
my room. And I always felt, I don't know the logic to this, but I always felt like if I was laying facing the wall, I was safer.
Mm.
I don't know why, but,
Yeah,
so when I heard that line, it really it took me back to a place where I was like, oh yeah, I used to do that.
that's amazing. Yeah, it's this cozy kind of thing, or like these boundaries, that where you feel like there's something next to you,
Yeah.
or there's, yeah,
Cocooning a little bit.
that's very interesting. Yeah, cocooning is
Um,
great.
Robert, who I'm assuming says he's going to tip you
I
one
do
day by
know
taking you
Robert.
for lunch very soon. So there you go. You just got lunch out of the
Robert,
deal.
that is so fabulous, my friend. Robert is a fabulous singer-songwriter as well. Out here in Halifax,
You got a lot.
we've
You've
done
got a lot
some.
of them out there.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. I'm lucky to know a few of them too. I'm starting to get to know some people now, which is great. And Robert's a fabulous, fabulous guy. He is very involved in the Blue Acres music community, which is a Facebook group that I have for artists, singer-songwriters, people who are and it's a mix of folks. Some people who are way beyond where I'm at in terms of their careers, and then some people who are like me, just trying to get started and not sure how to get there and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Robert's been awesome with that, and also he's been hosting Zoom chats on Tuesday nights for songwriters to like share their work. So if
Oh,
you ever
nice.
Yeah, if you're ever around for that, Dave, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Sweet. And the Facebook group, I'm glad you brought that up. Is that's something that if people kind of look it up, they can request to join if they want to be part of that community?
Absolutely. That would be amazing. It's short story, I guess. I felt like I felt like an outsider in the music world because I had done like music therapy for so long, and I hadn't, I'm a fan of a lot of local music
I'll just
people.
tell you, you're the second person I've had a conversation with this week that said they felt like an outsider in the music world. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
Well, the third,
I
because I
mean,
said the same thing, but
yeah, exactly. Well, like, what is the music world
yeah.
anyway? But yeah, and so I felt like I needed that. I needed like community. I wanted that. I also was coming out of like um, a long relationship and a long kind of life where I had like a church community and stuff like that, and I was looking for new folks to connect with about like the things that I was really connecting with, which was music and creativity and songwriting, and yeah, and so that group just kind of came out of my own need of like, you know, who do I ask about like, you know, ISRC codes, or who do I ask about, you know, like how do I get my song recorded? How do I like promote it somehow? How do I get a gig booked anywhere? All that kind of stuff, you know. Or like, hey, does anybody else ever feel like discouraged when Spotify Wrapped comes out or whatever, you know, that
Yeah,
kind of
well,
stuff.
hang in there. This was the first year I saw my Spotify Wrapped and was encouraged.
Oh,
Um,
that's good.
it's taken, this is like probably the fifth one I've gotten, so yeah, it took a
Yeah.
while, but I finally had a
Yeah,
Spotify Wrap that was encouraging until I went and looked at other people's Spotify Wraps, and I was like, oh, it's not as good as I thought it was, but still.
totally.
What do they say about
Totally.
comparisons? The enemy of joy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but also, I mean, here's the real thing though, is like you have done a ton of amazing work this year, right? You yourself and and I mean that shows, right? Or like that's an indicator of in the Spotify thing. So
Yeah, well, thanks for
yeah,
that.
no,
Uh,
absolutely.
Robert's doing a bunch of legwork for you here in the Facebook comments. I can see. Thanks for that, Robert. So Robert's put some links there. If you're a musician, a music maker, someone who's watching this live or later, and you want to be part of either the Zoom event or the where songwriters get together and share their songs, which are I haven't
Yeah.
been at that one, but I have been at another one on Zoom where and
Hmm.
I can't speak highly enough of those experiences, especially in times where we can't necessarily do that in person.
Yeah.
Still, sometimes maybe next week we can't, and then the week after we can, or whatever. But it's nice to at
Yeah.
least know
Yeah.
that we can do that somewhere. So thank you, Robert, for doing that, and thank you, Darrell, for building that community. And that's one of the things that really drew me to you and made me want to have you on, because I just love people who are, um, you say like I made this group because I wanted to solve my own problems, which fair enough, but not everybody. That's not everybody's response when they.
I guess so.
Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I promised you a lightning round. We're going to do a lightning round
Okay.
now. Okay,
Lightning round.
so these are some home-related lightning round questions. And
Should I
again,
be
if you're
nervous or
watching,
what?
no, you don't need to be nervous. It shouldn't be embarrassing, I don't think. Um, but if you're watching and you want to throw out a question, please do, and I'll keep my eye on the comments as well, and maybe I'll throw some of those at Darrell too. But okay,
Hmm.
so how many times have you moved in your life?
Oh man. Um, I don't know. Six, maybe,
Six.
maybe
Okay,
more than that. I don't know.
that's about average, I
That,
would say.
yeah,
You're what, 23 now, right?
yeah, exactly. No, I'm 38. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, six is a good number, I think.
maybe it's more than that, to be honest. But I don't know. I'd have to think.
Especially for
I'm
a
bad with
musician. I
numbers.
think six is a low number for a musician. But you're
I
the first
suppose.
person I've asked, so we'll have to see. We'll chart out an
Okay.
average over the coming episodes, and we'll see where you
Yeah.
where you place. Okay, so what's the strangest place that you've ever had to sleep,
Oh. Maybe not sleep.
or not
uh,
sleep? Yeah.
strangest place, man. I remember the Newfoundland Ferry when I played volleyball when I was a junior high kid, and we went to Newfoundland. It's my only time I've been there, and there's a ferry there that I apologize to anyone who's from there. I, I
Here it comes. He's gonna
That's a
go
good
there.
question.
He's gonna go there.
Yeah. Uh, anyway, trying to sleep on the ferry was really weird. I remember trying to sleep one time in somebody's apartment in Toronto. We were like just visiting, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can stay in this apartment even though we haven't moved in yet," kind of thing. And I remember being really anxious about that. uh, um, yeah, some strange places, I guess.
Have you had
Interesting.
have you had to live in any strange places for an extended amount of time?
Um, I don't, I don't, I don't know. I think in university, I was in a house with five other guys, and I was in this kind of smaller room out of the whole deal, and that was fine. That was cool. We actually had, um, uh, one Saturday morning, we had the police knock on the door, and then like a ton of people. I answered the door, and a ton of police officers came storming in the house, and kind of got all of us up and out of our beds. And we were like, at the time I was a Christian guy, so we were like Christian kids living in this university house. And so none of us had been actually doing anything wrong, like not even smoking pot or anything like that, which is now legal, but it wasn't then. But and they were kind of had us all come down and like all serious and detectives and stuff and a ton of police officers, and they were like looking at someone's computer. Somebody had committed credit card fraud at that address a year and a half prior, which it's a university town. We had only been there for like 3 months at the time. So anyway, they didn't find anything because
There was
that was
nothing to
before
find.
we were there. And I'm going to stick to that
That's good.
story.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get better than that. Okay, if you could live
Yeah.
anywhere, where would you live?
Oh, this is a great question. Listen, I mean, I really love where I'm at right now. Yeah, this is a great little spot.
It's a good answer.
I think, yeah. I also love Vancouver. I lived there for 2 years, and then,
Mm.
yeah, I love Vancouver too. But
So
yeah, I don't know. I
oceans,
also haven't been to very many places, so that's an overwhelming question. Like, I'd have to check them all off the list
right?
first.
Yeah, try them all.
Yeah.
I don't think we
Yeah.
get to do that in one life, unfortunately.
No.
But
Yeah.
oceans, water. You want to be by water, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, oceans are important. Yeah, for sure. It feels like talking about the wall, or like, you're saying like feeling safe or feeling something like when you're like leaning against the wall or whatever. Um, there's something about oceans for sure for me. Like I did spend some time in Ottawa, and I spent like not a ton of time, but like a summer and some other places like that. And it feels like really strange.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your chores at home? What are you responsible
Oh,
for?
that's a good question. Um, Making coffee.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
very important.
I make. So yeah, Robert mentions my partner Lindsay. So yeah, I make coffee. That's good. I mean, I do. Oh, I cook as well. I don't
Okay.
think Lindsay would be very, very happy to announce that she doesn't cook very well. She's quite proud of that fact.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, we do all this stuff together. Like we do all the cleaning and all that stuff together. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'd asked you earlier about an object. Did you find anything to show off for us?
Well, I this is a good question. I did take this little coffee mug.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So yeah.
Oh,
So
that I'm gonna have to like run
do you have one
upstairs
like
during
that?
your next song and get my coffee
Yeah.
mug so I can show you, because my coffee mug
Oh
is
yeah.
so similar to your
Oh
coffee
man.
mug. It's not as
Yeah.
stout, but it's pottery and it's the exact same colors. So now I need to
Oh.
prove this, but Amazing.
buddy, we got to have coffee together sometime.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we can.
Yeah.
That's a great. So I'd asked Darrell to find an object that's, speaks of home to him, and that's a great one. I Yeah, I relate. Those little things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, like I was thinking about it. Like I wouldn't take this to work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I might have a different mug at work or something. But like, no. Yeah. And there's something about. I mean, for me, like home at this point is like sort of belonging and it's cozy or whatever. It is also creative. Like we're trying to make this into like a creative space. This
Hmm.
house. um, and where people can be their real selves. Like
Mm.
when my kids are here, they're teenagers now, and it's like they're wanted the way that they are, even
Mm.
if they're mad at me or or don't want to really engage or whatever. Like that's that. I mean, that's the plan. I'm not giving you the. I don't want to give you the impression that I do all that stuff perfectly, but um,
It's a beautiful,
yeah. And so
beautiful picture of home, though, I think, to reach for.
yeah,
An
and
ember of
and
home, if you
so
will.
yeah, for sure. And it's like, um, it is very interesting. Like I've thought a lot about in music therapy work as well. Like I've worked in nursing homes, and so like people working with people
Mm.
at that stage of life, with oftentimes the folks I've worked with have had like different types of like dementia or different losses they've gone through or whatever. And so it's very interesting to think. I remember during those years when I was working there primarily, thinking a lot about the themes of home and of like what parts of that are like our memories, which parts of that are like identity and stuff like that. It's very,
Mm.
very fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I
And
never thought
then,
about that working with people who, yeah, I mean, when their home is not
mm,
something that they would choose necessarily, and like
mm-hmm.
what they must hold on to like have a sense of that, because I imagine we all need to have some sense of what that is for us, right? Even if it's been taken away.
Yeah, and
Mm.
sometimes it's stories, or it's or sometimes it's not. Like sometimes it's the longing for that, or the mourning that, the grieving that,
Mm.
which is interesting too. Anyway.
Man, I feel like we could go a lot of directions and talk for a long time, but if you can believe it,
Yeah.
our time is like almost up already. Um,
Wow.
I want to say a shout out to my friend Todd, who's watching in Fuquay Varina. I don't know if I'm saying that right. North Carolina. It's
Wow.
the longest he's lived anywhere as an adult. So, congratulations, Todd.
That is amazing.
I've never been to North Carolina, but would love to. Todd's a
Yeah, me either.
Todd's a good friend I've met down in Santa Fe a few times, and longing to
Oh, awesome.
longing to get back anywhere with Todd someday.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you. I know we're like running out of time, but like, and we can do this off air. But did you do the Glen thing?
Yeah,
What's that
yeah.
called?
Glen Workshop. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
So we can def.
I wanted to do that at some
Oh,
point.
it's yeah. We should talk. It's
Before.
definitely it was changed my life for sure in a lot of
Oh
good
wow.
ways. But yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. I wanted to ask you about, and it felt like we were kind of moving there with some of what you were saying about belonging and community.
Mm.
Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask about just the story behind one song in particular, that we could dig into a little bit deeper. And I know we could do this with any of the songs on the album, but when I was
Yeah.
listening to Quiet Light, one of the songs that jumped out at me right away was Hard to Find, and just because it has some kind of lyrical gut punches right off the bat that
Mm.
I could relate to. It doesn't mean that what you're writing about is what I'm thinking about when I'm hearing it, because that's how songs work, right? But it
Yeah.
definitely hit
Yeah.
me in some ways. So why don't you tell us a bit about Hard to Find, what that song, how did that song come to be, and how do you think about that song now?
Um. Yeah. So the song "Hard to Find" was, I guess, a very kind of raw song for me. Um, I had been part of a church community most of my kind of social life was in that group as well. And So I was coming out of a time, I went through a separation, and um, along with that, I was like kind of unwrapping a lot of onion layers of things I'd always wrestled with about like faith and the community and stuff like that. And just like being, I was really struggling to be um, myself and to kind of love myself or want to be like my real self, I guess. It's hard to say, or it's hard to like articulate that in a small online conversation. But like, um, yeah, so I was trying to stop people pleasing, I think.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was, in a lot of ways, in my personality in my life, I was getting a lot of my validation or needs met from um, like trying to make other people happy or trying to make other people like not mad at me or something, you know, not necessarily
Sure.
happy, but just like
I do
not
know. I
critical.
do know, Daryl.
Yeah.
Was that kind of exacerbated by the religious community you were in at the time? Do you feel like because I know people struggle with that
Mm.
anyways. Um,
Yeah, I do struggle with that anyways. Yeah.
yeah, like we can do just fine at being hard on ourselves without church being involved. But did you feel like that was part of that environment was kind of part of that experience for you?
Well, I think like, I mean, I definitely think it was part of it, or I think for me it was part of it. I don't think that necessarily anyone in that world that I knew was like doing things or saying things to be, to try to make me feel that way necessarily.
Mm.
But I think that those kinds of messages and that kind of culture, um, it really like fed into my maybe pre-existing like people pleasing nature or something
Right.
like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Um,
totally does. I've kind of
you
been
know.
thinking about this term, about the collateral damage of theology, where it's like
Mm,
unintended consequences, right? So
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense to me. Um,
Hmm. I'd
uh,
like to hear more about what you mean by that another time. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, what you're talking about is certainly one of those things, the need to people please and
Mm,
feel like you need to squeeze yourself into a mold that isn't necessarily your shape, right? You mentioned
yeah.
your separation as well. Was that do you
Hmm.
think that played a role in because that move to move away from community that's comfortable for you, to move away from
Hmm.
identity? Uh, I, I know from experience that when you're in pretty entrenched in a religious community, especially, um, it can really define every, you know, its tendrils are like rooted in every part of your being, right? So it's not an easy
Yeah,
thing to walk
totally.
away from. Um,
Totally.
and some people never do, just because you know, not for any good reason, just because it's too hard, kind of thing, right?
Mm.
So I think there's a courage in that too that is required. Do you feel like um, the separation, like the difficulty in that moment, was helpful in kind of unmooring you or giving you pause to make that change?
Um, Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was like, um, I definitely do. I think it was like, building up like part of your life anyway. Sometimes in theories about like midlife crisis or like or like uh what's a better way of saying that, like development through the lifespan, you know what I mean,
Yep.
is that like sometimes when you're young you build up a thing, and then there's a point at which you are like reevaluating those things, and like then there's there needs to be like a rebuilding or like a restructuring of some of that.
Yeah.
And so for me, that came about like, I think it was like the separation for me, well, for me and my partner at the time, I think was very courageous. And I do think, I think it was like courageous to actually like kind of stop the train a little bit and say like, where is this going? And are we like, you know, um, what like to just be honest with like, okay, if this isn't like working, then let's make some drastic changes. And it had to be drastic. And I think it was very hard, I think, within um, my perception of the church community anyway, to have any of those honest conversations.
Yeah.
So I feel like, to be honest, I'm very, very proud, or like, I have a ton of respect for myself and my partner at the time for having those difficult things and making those difficult decisions.
That's good to
Yeah.
hear. I don't know that we hear that a lot, so it's good to hear.
Well,
Did
yeah.
you hard to find? Did you write the song? Was it a way of moving through that for you, or did you write it much later, looking back on that time?
It was. I mean, it was both. I went through like a long period of like, sort of figuring out mostly the church thing. Well, I mean, it definitely was the separation too. I'm not gonna lie, but like of kind of figuring out a bunch of stuff, and I had a ton of anger, like, and it was mostly directed. It was directed more to like the church culture, and not anyone in particular, but that kind of stuff, like that kind of belief system, and because man, like I was earnest, like I was an earnest kid, I was an earnest like teenager. I was trying to do the right things, trying to be a good person and all this kind of stuff, and then. Surprise, surprise, things don't work out sometimes.
Right. Even with all
Which
that,
is okay.
all those
Yeah.
merit points, man.
Yeah, geez, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, and I actually felt like some of my, like, I stepped away from the church, but also lots of folks that were my friends, I just like haven't heard from them.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, as a community, like what are we doing here? It's kind of the questions that I had. And so then, and I guess I've also felt like I could imagine, or and I don't think I was just making it up, but I could imagine what people would say or what they would think about me, or those kinds of things, because I've seen how they talk about other people, or I've seen how they would respond to other scenarios.
Right.
And I felt like they would have I felt like people would have a lot of answers for me about what or about any of the questions I was ever wrestling
Right. How to
with.
fix you.
Yeah.
How to fix what
Right.
their perceived perception was a brokenness or a problem here, right?
Right.
Come in and,
Or maybe you know what? Maybe going through, um, you know, maybe making decisions that I made was like actually stepping towards something healthy.
Yeah.
Which is what I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
So I think.
last thing I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about the song is whether, and you kind of alluded to it, I think you're talking about like the actual movement away from the community and making that, the story behind the song, but the song itself,
Yeah.
we were talking a little bit before we started the broadcast, just about like writing raw things and honest things and saying hard things
Mm-hmm.
out loud. And if there's like any trepidation
Yeah.
about that. So was there, maybe you're far enough removed now in life, but I'm just curious, was there any trepidation about having written but now having to sing this song and what that might mean, or how do you feel about about the song now?
I think that's a great question, and I'm curious about if anyone out there like listening or whatever, if people have that experience in other circles, or if it's like mainly like the church world or something, but it's because we were talking about that a little bit off air, but the this feeling of like I'm afraid to say the wrong thing, or if I go too honest with this song, or if I like there would be repercussions, or there would be like misunderstandings, or there would be judgments or something, or you don't sing about these subjects, or you don't sing about doubt, or you don't sing about um, you know, if you belong to these communities. So yeah, I find
And I
that
think what
it's
people
very
don't
interesting.
know, if they haven't written songs, but I think it may be any kind of art, is that it betrays you, right? As a creator, like
Mm,
you start to go down a path and it takes you somewhere you weren't expecting, right? So it's not like you even, sometimes maybe that's a bit of an excuse, but I sometimes feel like I can be like, that's not even what I intended to say when I started this. Like like
yeah,
I didn't set out to write a song that was this honest or that went to this place, but this is where this song needed to go, right? Sometimes that happens. So
totally.
I think we've really built this song up, so we better hear it now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does. I did. It was like in some ways very cathartic, or it was. I did feel I did feel the risk of it. You know, I did feel the like danger of writing this song and of putting it out. You know, perceived danger. You
Right.
know, and um, but there was a point at which I felt like to stand up for myself, I needed to say these things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well,
And
I'm glad you did, because
yeah,
it definitely connected with me. Pardon me. And that honesty, I think, it has been um, helpful and healing for me. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So.
well, thanks so much. Yeah, this is
And
hard to find.
maybe what I'll have you do, Daryl, sorry to interrupt. Maybe what I'll have you do
Yeah.
is play, maybe just play us one more after this, and that'll be kind of our
Okay.
last song for the night. We'll just do
Okay.
a couple in a row,
Sweet.
and then say goodbye, and thank you to everybody for being here with us, and go write some more amazing songs, I guess.
Yeah, totally. You told me what to think and who to believe. Your myth of love and grace was never free. Now I'm trying to be the man I want to be. You won't know me at your table. You can't see me with your eyes. You can't put your finger on me, though you try. I'm a good man, but I'm hard to find. I light a flame and place it on the floor. I used to meet you here, but not anymore. Now I look for truth beyond these prison doors. You won't know me at your table. You can't see me with your eyes. You can't put your finger on me, though you try. I'm a good man, but I'm hard to find. with your own fear. You can stay stuck if you want, but you can't keep me here. And all my life I worshipped you with my tears. You won't know me at your table. You can't see me with your eyes. You can't put your finger on me, though you tried. I'm a good man, but I'm hard to find. Yes, I'm a good man, but I'm hard to find. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Darrell.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think I'll finish with this tune. That's the title track of the record. It's called Quiet Light. And it's, it's almost like, in some ways, it's almost like a lullaby to yourself, or the vulnerable parts of your heart, or something like that. Oh, my child, your tender heart is tearing with all you've tried to hide. Still believe under all the scars you're wearing, there's a quiet light inside. Light, 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 quiet light. Light, 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 quiet light. All along I had love alone for you, and light, 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 quiet light. Now you walk through the places you're afraid of, and it quickens in your chest. Want to let go of the lies that you believed in, and you want to find some rest in light, 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 quiet light. Light, 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 quiet light. All along I had love alone for you, and light, 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 quiet light. Now you walk through the valleys you're afraid of, and I know you've had hard times. Through every hurt, just remember what you're made of. You were lifted from the soil in a breath of light. I gotta find my headphones here. They fell out.
Oh yeah. I just got a
You can
sigh.
say, at this point, you can say whatever you want and I won't even hear it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Now's the time. Oh, that was fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for just sharing some real moments of beauty with us tonight, Darrell. It was really great.
thank you so much.
If you want to, if you agree and you're watching and you want to show Darrell some tangible support and love, you can leave a tip of any amount at paypal.me/Blue Acres Band. It's super easy. You just go there, it'll
Hmm.
ask you for amount, and you can pay with your PayPal account or your credit card or whatever. I know because I have one too.
Oh,
It's
thanks so
a
much.
beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It works so well. So that's yeah, something you can do tangibly, whether you're watching this now or watching it later. Just to say thank you to Darrell for being here with us and spending his later evening because he's in another time zone altogether. So we've been here 7 to 8ish, and he's been here 10 to 11ish. So I would be
Excuse me. Yeah.
I would be only able to do lullabies at that time probably if I was at
Oh,
home.
yeah. Well, most of my tunes are kind of lullaby-ish, I think. So,
You know, your
yeah.
voice just has this really such a rich quality to it.
Hmm.
It's yeah, you have a really beautiful voice. So I'm
Well, thank you so much.
glad you're giving it the respect it deserves, Darrell.
Thank
Letting
you
us
so
hear
much.
it.
And yeah, and likewise, man. I'm a little bit. I was saying as well. I'm a little disappointed we weren't trading tunes on this recording. I get what we're doing here, and but next time we'll have to play some tunes together.
Yeah,
Then.
we'll have to do that. I
Yeah.
was just barely able to restrain myself from harmonizing with you half the time. So
Oh.
it would be
Oh
lovely.
man.
One day I'm going to come out there your way and try and play a show and get to do that in person. That would be fantastic. So
Oh, that would be amazing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you got to come out here.
my
It's
wife and I
lovely
have
for sure.
WestJet dollars that are burning a hole in our pocket and have to be
Whoa.
spent at some point. So from the Montreal trip, we never got to take because you know, something happened in the world.
Because
So
something. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen. Yeah.
Before you go, Darrell, I wanted to just give you a chance to mention the Long and McQuaid music therapy fundraiser because I know that's dear to your heart. So let us know
Oh,
about that.
totally. Yeah, so Long and McQuaid is a music store, as probably most people know.
The
It's all
music store.
across
Yeah.
the music store that's all across Canada. And they started an initiative probably 10 years ago or maybe a little more. That was around Christmas time. They raised money for music therapy in children's hospitals. And so, um, yeah, so that's what I was talking about now because that's going on right now. It's a fundraiser that they do every December. And no matter where you are in the country, when you donate to that, it goes to the children's hospital that's in your area. So even if you donate online, there's some way that they can tell that you're from Ontario or Ottawa or something, and they're going to put that money to CHIO if you're in Ottawa, or what we were talking Stollery if you're in Edmonton, I think is the one. And then over here in Nova Scotia, it's the IWK. There's tons, or there's not tons, but you know where you are. There's the Children's Hospital you are at. It, so donating $2 at the cash register or online or whatever at the Long McQuaid website, that money goes directly to supporting um, the music therapy program at the Children's Hospital there. Um, yeah,
Which also goes to
because
supporting the salaries of people like yourself.
well, that's how the job that I had, or that I have rather, um, started. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like lots of places, a lot of people and hospital administrators and everyone, at this point, they all see the value of it generally, of music therapy, and they're like, oh, we love to have it, but we don't have any money and all this kind of thing. And I get it. Like, you got to pay for the machines that are going to do the machine things that people need, but yeah, so it is amazing, really. Like Long McQuaid in Halifax, actually, Long McQuaid was instrumental in getting that position started. So I really have a strong spot in my heart for those people. as well as like the community, the patrons who donate to it, because it's been pretty huge. So not only Halifax, I should say, the Maritimes. So yeah.
Nice. Good. Thanks for sharing that. If I'm picking up some strings or something along McQuaid and they ask me if I want to add to my bill, now instead of just automatically saying no and paying my bill, I will say yes, and I will contribute that way. So that's great to know.
That'll be amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being generous with your time and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you all for choosing to spend your Thursday evening with us as well. Again, if you liked what you saw, just do us a favor and share it to your wall, or share it with someone else who you think might like the conversation that we had or the music that you heard tonight. And I will be back the first Thursday in January with another one of these, and
Nice.
The plan is to continue doing that the first Thursday of the month with a new artist each time. If you have any suggestions for artists that you think would be a good fit for this format, for some songs and some conversation, please send them my way in the comments, or send me a DM or an email or whatever. And Darrell also is not hard to find. See what I did there?
I did see what you did there.
I've been storing that one for 10 minutes. On all the socials, just Blue Acres Music, some variation of that, and it's blueacresmusic.com or .ca.
It is blueacresmusic.com is
Yes,
the website.
excellent.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think
I'd
that's
love to connect with anyone who's watching this or who sees it later. That's what it's all about, especially for, those of us who are into the songwriting world here in Canada. It's great to connect with people in virtual space or in real life. So yeah.
awesome. What a guy, hey?
Yeah.
What a guy.
Oh, totally. And yeah, I mean, I gotta say thank you to you, Dave, or Vaughn, whatever I should call you.
You call me Dave.
No,
I'm at home now. I was really like trying to decide whether I should wear a bow tie for these things and like be Von Bieker, but I decided I'm at home. I don't wear a bow tie when I'm at home most of the time.
No.
So I'm just going to be, you can call me Dave. It's good.
That's great. Well, I mean, thank you so much for inviting me on. It's a real treat. Always, it's a treat to chat with you and hear your tunes. I love what you're doing these days with the songs you're putting out. The Christmas tunes are awesome, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Totally. And your record was stunning. I've been listening to it more this week. So, yeah.
Thanks so much. Well, there you go. You've just bought yourself a return visit at some point.
Hey, that would be
Just
awesome.
put a little butter on my bread. You'll be back someday. All right.
Totally.
We're gonna sign off for the night. So we'll see you in about a month. And that's. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say. There's another like a side B to this project that is gonna be coming as well, in another format. But I'm not gonna say anything yet because I don't want to. Just stay tuned to my socials, and if you're not on my email list, why? First of all, why?
It's a pretty smoking email.
Pretty smoking email list, I think. Yeah. So go to vonbeaker.com and sign up for Good Things, and you'll know the secret as soon as it's out. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you so much.